Namaskaram, sir. You are muted, Mr. Kapsami.
Good evening, sir. Yes, sir.
Good evening, good evening. பாலகிருஷ்ணன் சார் உங்களோட போஸ்ட பார்த்தேன் வாட்ஸ்அப்ல.
ஓகேங்க சார்.
மீட்டிங்க்கு அப்புறமா நான் வந்து I will just go through it and then reply to you. நம்மளோட மீட்டிங் எப்ப இருக்கு?
ஓகேங்க சார்.
30th 30th நம்ம பேச. அதுக்கு முன்னாலே நான் உங்களுக்கு அனுப்பிச்சுடுறேன் ரிப்ளை.
ஓகேங்க சார்.
Thank you. Well, let me make you the co-host that in case anything goes wrong. Swata ma'am, I made you the co-host. Okay. So you see, we saw that B.F. Skinner's motivation theory, but very frankly speaking, motivation is a double-edged sword. It works in the short term, but in the long term, it hits back very badly. Very, very severely it hits back. That is the reason why we should always attempt to ensure that there is engagement and not motivation. To understand the whole concept, you need to go through the whole gamut of motivation theory to understand how it developed, how scientists, behavioral scientists, they understood behavioral science and they could incorporate that into this engagement principle. We have already seen in the last class the Skinner's theory. Let us briefly take a few minutes to go over it again, and then we will proceed with the next step of motivation. The reinforcement theory. We saw that there are two forces, the driving forces and the restraining forces. The driving forces, both can be operated by adding and withdrawing stimulus. With positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement, you can drive change, and you can restrain it through punishment and through extinction. That is by ignoring something. When positive reinforcement is given, when new behaviors add positive reinforcement, and then when new behaviors are removed, there is a negative consequence that can also go towards a positive thing. Similarly, when you punish a bad behavior, it can stop, or when you ignore a bad behavior, it might not get repeated. What are the advantages of this theory? The advantages are it is very clear, simple, and actionable. It is the most foundational of motivation. It provides managers, leaders with straightforward technique to encourage or discourage specific behaviors. The principle is do this, you get that. That logic is very simple. The results are immediate. Reinforcement and consequences can lead to quick behavior change. Third thing is well suited for routine tasks, works well in structured environment where behaviors are repetitive and outcomes are measurable, like in sales, call, manufacturing, call centers. In all these places, the reinforcement theory, for the time being, can get you very good results. Then comes the enabling and tracking feedback loop. It encourages managerial attentiveness because you can't encourage or discourage a behavior unless you are attentive. So it brings about managerial attentiveness also. The question immediately came, so if it is so short-lived, what can be done? What can we do differently for bringing about a sustained change, a lasting change? The first thing that you can do to bring about sustained change through the B.F. Skinner theory is to link it to purpose and values. Go beyond do this and get that. Instead, connect behavior to team vision, corporate vision, purpose, and show the person how his good behavior will help with the personal growth. Please remember, 90% of us, or even maybe, I might stretch my neck out and say 99% of us in our daily life are using only Skinner's thing. Right from childhood, what are we telling our children? You study well, you will become something else. So you see, constantly, we are taking Skinner, adding a long-lasting strategy to it, and presenting it to them. That means we are still in 1911 when B.F. Skinner gave that theory. Please understand the significance. The insight is we are still operating out of 1911. We have not yet got out of it. We have still not got out of it. Today, you are going to be introduced to another thing which is going to blow smithereens, going to blow this Skinner's theory to smithereens, absolutely. What is the second thing that we can do? Use intrinsic motivation triggers, tap into autonomy, mastery, and purpose, self-determination theory, which we will come to as the 10th class of this. That is the stage where things start changing. Promote self-awareness, dodge compliance, encourage reflection. That is again, what we do. Just think. What will be so and so if you do this? Like what helped you stay focused this week? This helps build internal regulation, not just external reaction. We try to remove that external reaction, put it into the person, and tell him to reflect upon his behavior so that he will bring about a lasting change. Then what do? Build relationship, but not just control systems. People change more substantially when they feel valued, trusted, connected, not just rewarded or punished. All these are variations that we bring in Skinner's. Create a feedback-rich culture. Make feedback regular, authentic, two-way. Employees should know how they are doing and why it matters. Again, you see the review system and all these things. We are under the impression that we are motivating people. We are under the impression that we are managing them very effectively. But we really do not know at this stage. Behavioral scientists did not know how the mind works. That is where we come in with the next case study, that is today's session. There are 34 people. I am going to divide you into 3 groups. I am going to give you a case study. It is something which we have been discussing the last 2 days on the platform. Try to go beyond what you see on it. Try to visualize yourself in that position. What exactly is happening in your mind? Smita, she achieves 40% more than what she was expected to in the company. She gets 8% increase. And one of her colleagues gets a 10.5% increase in the salary. She is blown. So what does it effectively mean? Which of you will tell me? What does it effectively mean?
She's looking at outside and comparing her performance with others' performance. And that is one of the aspects that is there.
Yeah, true. So we are talking about absolute outcome against relative comparison. Comparison relative to something else. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Correct, sir.
When you took the job, did you know that that person is going to be in the company? What if that person had not been there in the scene at all? How would you have felt? Then there was another case study I had put, but Anita and Ravi, both of them achieved the same. Both get the same increment, but Anita gets disappointed. And what is her logic? Her logic is she also does mentoring to some of her subordinates. And there was lots of comments, that, that she went the extra mile was not recognized and all that. What if Ravi had not been there in the scene? Would Anita have got disappointed?
Okay.
So you take a decision to mentor someone, that means the entire office has to mentor someone. So what's really happening? How do you motivate people then? I'm going to present the case study to you. I'm going to divide you into 3 groups. Kindly read the case study. and very objectively try to understand what's happening here. The case study, the story of Smita, a high performer, hits the wall. Smita, an experienced brand manager, joined a growing FMCG company in Bengaluru. In her previous organization, she was awarded Best Employee twice and consistently received above average raises. Please focus on each of the sentences. She joined the new firm with high hopes of great freedom, impact, and growth. In her first year, Smita led a successful product launch that exceeded projection by 40%. Her colleagues praised her, but when the annual appraisal were announced, she received an average 8% rise, while someone in another team had barely hit the target, received a 10.5% rise. When she asked her manager, she was told, "You already at the top of your band, don't worry, your work is noticed." A few weeks later, during a luncheon conversation, Smita discovered that a male colleague who had joined 6 months after her was being paid 25% more than she was, despite her having mentored him. She also realized that in her previous company, her efforts were valued. There were frequent spot bonuses, leadership visibilities, and strategic projects offered to high performers. Over the next few months, Smita became less enthusiastic, started delaying decisions, and began considering external job offers, despite liking her team and her brand. Kindly take a screenshot of this. Have you taken?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, have you not taken the screenshot?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what is the situation as it is visible? What are the issues highlighted? And I want you to think what relevant motivation theory it is. The same way as the earlier one was called the B.F. Skinner's motivation theory, the reinforcement theory or operant conditioning theory, this is also a researched theory. What could have been done differently? These are the exercises that you have to do. You can take a screenshot of these 4 questions also. But kindly go deeper than what is visible on the surface. Okay. Now I am going to divide you all into 3 groups. You will have 30 minutes time. And then you see, all of you kindly select a leader who will come and present the findings of the group. Keep everything ready. Don't delay. Okay. I am opening the rooms. The rooms have been opened, I think. Please join. Ms. Sridevi, you can join the room. Any problem, Ms. Sridevi? You are not joining the breakout room?
Sir, I did not get an option prompt. Just a minute, I'll check over, sir.
Just a minute. Mr. Murugan, you can join room number 2. Just a minute, let me see. Yes, you have a prompt. You can move to room number 3. I will assign you again. Mr. Banda, are you not joining the rooms?
Sujata ji, you can go ahead in our group.
So, friends, welcome back. So, how was the breakout room session?
The
Yes,
time
sir.
wasn't sufficient.
Time was insufficient to sympathize with Anita and Smita. Am I right? Because we suddenly found that we are standing in Anita and Smita's shoes, but for the sake of the group, you have to look different. So there was a desperate attempt to find meaning in what was happening. Very tricky situation.
Quite challenging.
When you sympathize with someone, but you can't come out openly and sympathize, it can be very miserable. Chalo, theek hai, let's see. See, this is what is meant by fighting against your own mind. Yeah, room number 3. Let's start from back. Yes, Raju sir.
Yes. Okay.
I'm a chartered accountant from the Middle East. Is going to, the Middle East has always been a problem area. So let's see.
Okay. The situation, what is visible, the first one, situation as it is visible, we
You
have
want
the
me to give you the screen sharing? It's given.
No, it's we
Okay.
have not had time to, everyone had so many ideas that we didn't have time to do it online. But okay, here we have a situation where the person is actually not happy when she compared her performance. She exceeded her target by 40%, and she was not happy when someone else barely met the target, got an increase higher than her. And the second situation is where someone who joined 6 months later have got a 20% hike whom she has mentored. So these were the situations which, not about the height she got, but she was unhappy with the way it was, the unfair treatment which is given to her. That's the sit. And how issues, what is the issue, underlying issue is that the reward which is given against the expected goals. For example, there's someone who have a lenient boss who fix them lower targets, they get higher rewards. And probably she had a tough manager, which has resulted in her getting a lower thing. And what could have been different? The thing what could be done differently is that the organization need to have a transparent system of smart objectives, so that then this comparison thing would not arise. If they have an objective assessment thing, this would not arise, because there's no guarantee that if this continues next year also, the same thing is bound to happen again. What is the relevant motivation theory in this? I think the employer needs to connect individually with each employee and match their performance with the overall organization goals, values, and things like that. So I think that's the individual connection on one-to-one basis is extremely important. So team 3 team members, please, if you have anything else to add to what I've said, please join.
Thank you.
This is Adam's equity theory. I just wanted to add in group 3.
If it is Adam's equity theory, why are we talking about all these things? Because
No, the comparison
Adam's
is
equity
also being made.
theory is very clear. That is the question of objective. Where did you get the idea that the objective was tough or easy and all those things?
No, she is comparing with respect to her previous company. That is the major.
But how do you
here.
know in the previous company the objectives were tough or easy?
No, and not only
It's nowhere
objectives. She was
mentioned
getting
anything.
spot rewards. She was getting
Maybe the
getting
person was
other
smart and
things.
was getting. Maybe the person was smart and was getting. Is there anything
No.
wrong in it?
Yes. She may be smarter there, but some more persons are smarter
So
here.
she became unsmart here, is it?
No. With respect to the comparison, because she has got 2 times best employee award there. Now she is
And this is the
expecting
first
here
year.
also she
You
should
give
get.
her time not to give. Where did you people give her time? Why did she give the management time?
No, but why management should give? Why she is not understanding that? She should
Obviously,
understand.
management should give, you see, you have this is the first year of your performance. The first year you are reacting like this.
So she should be given some punishment also
Okay,
for
we will
this.
see. See, to the extent that it is Adam's equity theory, you are wrong, right? But the interpretation is wrong. We will see what the interpretation should be.
Okay.
Actually, it should
Yeah,
build
you are
a
right. That it is
relationship.
Adam's equity theory. It is the Adam's equity theory, which was propounded in 1963. I do not deny it. And this is the second most important theory to have come in the motivational theory series after B.F. Skinner's. We will see how they fit into each other and what exactly should have been done or what is the to be done. Yes. Rule number 2. See, one of the problems is the amount of assumption we get into. The human mind, it's such a tricky thing. It will make you, think of all the things to justify what your stand is. That's precisely what is happening here. Subbaraju sir has taken a stand. And now all his intelligence and learning is going towards justifying it by finding out reasons why it is so. It is not wrong, but that is how it works. And this is where Adam's equity theory and B.F. Skinner theory become very, very dangerous. Okay, let's go to the rule number 2, please.
Sir, can we share the screen?
I shared already.
No, our consolidation we wish to share. So our group members, they've given their opinions, their viewpoints, that she had joined with a higher hope, this organization, thinking there's greater freedom. But here the expectation and her experience, they did not align. Like the appraisal and the consequence of the increment or whatever increase she has received. One more thing is, there could have been a possibility that the manager did not acknowledge her disappointment because he convinced her saying your work is recognized. That's all, nothing beyond that. And her case also speaks about work-life imbalance. Maybe, I don't know how do we explain this, but definitely the imbalance is observed. And comparatively, Ravi is a smart worker, which is a need of the hour. Dedication, loyalty comes later. Smart work speaks louder. That's what we understand of this. And then the difference in percentages of increment is very clearly visible with the percentages that were shared. And in that prospect, now her case could be a threat like retention risk, maybe because she started already seeking employment elsewhere. And one more deterrent, I could say, the manager's poor communication and about the inequality of the pay, which I think really made the difference. And at the same time, we would say the manager did not discourage her performance. Empathy value was not exercised. So these are the things that, it is visible clearly. That's what our group members, we felt so, and we share the viewpoints here. To the other questions, what are the issues highlighted? Again, we repeat, that is poor communication. What could have been done or done better, or what could have made it better? Then the non-empathetic approach, that also adds as an issue. Then there should be a transparent compensation where a policy is required. And I think discretion of the policy is very, very important, where one employee should never know about the other employees, whatever the emoluments or the pay or whatever we call it. Then there is a lag feedback in her case, not a lead feedback, and probably frequent motivation or appreciation, which could have been a better way, is missing. And there are two mentors for those two people. Maybe the mentoring factor might have been different, which could have caused this. And comparison to other employees is a big deterrent because there are two sides to the coin. One is why am I not paid as much as them? Or the other is, why has he taken more than I? So this is a two-sided issue, and the NDA policy was not effectively implemented. That's what our viewpoint carries. So orientation about NDA should be strong enough where such things should not come to the fore and discuss and make a difference in the performance level of the employees. Now, the third question, what could have been done differently? Probably she stood by her increment and reward rather than focusing what could have been done. Because sometimes you have to respect the work, leaving aside personal differences. And the communication could have been more transparent, more questioning, more feedback would have helped her where she could have had the benefit. And finally, the question, the theory applied here is the Skinner's theory, which is the operant conditioning. This is suggested by Anil Goswami, sir. So we put in our viewpoint along with this. So that's group 2.
Oh, can you go to the top, please?
Oh,
Can you go to
just
the
a minute.
first?
Sure, sir, sure. Yes, sir.
No, it's not visible. You're not sharing. Yeah.
Oh, it is being shared. Is it visible, sir?
Yeah. Expectation and experience did not align. She joined with higher hope. Right? Do you realize, team members, that whenever there is a change of job, there is always a push and a pull factor. The pull factor is all the inducements that the company gives you over and above what you're getting. The push factor is what you don't like about the organization that you currently are in. Correct? So obviously, there has been something more which has been given. Second thing is the smart work appreciated as in the case of Ravi. What makes you think he was a smart worker and that Anita was not? Is it that he used to do his work within the time that was prescribed to him?
Yes, yes, sir.
But at the same time, she also did the work within the time which was prescribed to her. Plus, she also did mentoring work. Now tell me, who is a smarter worker?
No, why we wrote this thing? Because she had been working.
Why you
throughout
wrote
day.
is not the question. The question is, what made you think like that?
He had been working late
Please
hours.
understand, Goswami sir, it is not a question of why you write.
No.
What
Late
you
hours
think is what makes you right. You see, it is a general opinion that doing the work within the times prescribed is smart. But then you see, as Mr. Kishore has mentioned here, her manager told her that her work is also noticed. Now, Anita's case speaks of work-life imbalance. Where did you find this imbalance? Where is there mention of any imbalance in it? The difference in percentages of increment is clearly visible. What are the parameters against which it is measured? Okay, you can unshare. What does this tell us? What is the insight in this? The human mind decides to take sides. And once it takes a particular side, it throws, the baby with the bathwater out. The whole hook, line, and sinker goes towards proving what you are thinking is right. Viewed from the angle of the Adams equity theory, do you realize how dangerous it is? What exactly is Adams equity theory? We will be discussing. You see, the mind is not a rational organ. Please understand that. It's a tremendously irrational, opinionated, and biased organ. That is the reason why understanding the significance and the deeper insights of these motivational theories and how the mind works is very important to be able to arrive at a degree of balanced judgment and be able to create relationships which are stable. When we talk about engagement, we are not necessarily talking only about the office. We are also talking about engagement in our family. We are also talking about engagement in the society. You are what you are. And being able to, work on that landscape of what you are for the greatest benefit is what you can do. And that is where these understanding of these theories, how they have evolved, why they have evolved, how they work together, how Adam's theory works with B.F. Skinner's theory. Because Adam theory in alone, it will not be useful. You have to understand it in relation to Skinner's theory and to the future theories which are going to come, and each one of them will draw from the earlier theory to modify itself. Room number 1, let's hear from you.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I will be presenting, sir, on behalf of our team.
Please.
So this the visible things with this case study is Anita is a very professional and achiever, but her own assumptions and attitude for everything is maybe one interrupter, sir, because there is a sense of discrimination for her, for her extra work and performance was not actually recognized as per her thinking, because she was comparing her salary part, her increment part with others. So, you mentioned, there is a relation with this Adams equity theory, where Suresh talked about individuals are motivated by work and salary, and they compare with others, which lead to demotivation, like input and outcome. What is the input and what's the outcome? That is what they compare, and that is why they get demotivated also.
This is not Adam's equity theory's definition. Adam's equity theory name is correct that you have identified, but what you are stating as Adam's equity theory is not right. Anyway, go ahead. We will discuss the Adam's equity theory. That is what the class is all about. We will see it in greater detail. This is what happens, a wrong understanding can lead you even more astray. Adam's equity theory is a modification and improvement upon the 1960 social significance theory. We will discuss that in greater detail at that time. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. So the real issues, as per Smita, she is thinking that her work, her performance was not recognized in this company when she's comparing with her older company, and because of the company policies, every person maybe have a different hikes and different increments. She was comparing her increment with the current colleague, the older colleague, and her comparing her salary with the new joinee. So company has their own policies, and base to base, this may changes, but her attitude and assumptions are there, which was not taken care by his manager also properly. Of course, he has mentioned that her work is recognized, but it would be better if he would have, have a proper face-to-face, and he would have listened all her queries and resolved accordingly. Or her in the beginning of the induction, only HR would have given the points like how the KRA points and how the things are going in this company. Better induction would have not lead to these things, sir. That is there. So even that Smita's attitude can be corrected, and that comparison and demotivation could not be done with where she was disengaged because of that. So there is a proper way, if that could have been addressed with the manager, would have not led to this situation, sir. So regular communication and her issues and expectation were managed if she was heard better way. And finally, the company could also frame some policies, by HR to address all these things in the beginning of the things. And maybe, she was also looking for a better recognition of her work because she has done a better job and she was not recognized. Only mere words were given that their work is acknowledged. If some recognition from the top management, from his immediate boss in written form or any incentive form would have been, uh, made her problems better understanding, and she would have been more engaged with the work, which lately was not. Got disengaged. any of my team
One-
member can add if when you
Yeah,
think
only
is
one
this
point I
maybe.
want to add. Actually, Adam's theory talks about individuals are motivated to maintain.
That's what we are
fairness.
going to talk now about, Mr. Suresh.
Okay. Okay, no problem.
Yeah, leave it. Yeah. Anything else? You want to add anything, Mr. Suresh, beyond this?
Actually, here there are two aspects. What you said, we have to compare it with Skinner theory, where the negative impact and the positive reinforcement, that part of it need to be touched in comparison with Adam's theory to make it more impactful. That's the only point I want to add. Thanks, sir.
Okay, thank you.
One point
There are
which
a
I
lot of
would like
assumptions.
to
Yeah.
raise is that, this is a point with respect to, how typically for a new joinee, the salaries are compared. So most organizations, of course, it's based on, a discussion and a negotiation process is followed very clearly based on existing salaries and stuff like that. But there is no adequate importance given to the existing employees of similar experience or similar expertise and things like that. So that point clearly, whenever we are hiring new employees, that probably needs to be kept in mind. That could have been done differently if organizations want to ensure equity. At least at the within at the time of joining for all people with similar experience.
Mr. Gosai, you are an entrepreneur or you are a professional?
I have been a professional earlier. Now I'm an entrepreneur.
How many people work in your company?
In my company right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, right now I'm alone.
You're a solopreneur.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you are working in a company, how many people were there?
There have been different companies of different sizes. There have been even.
Tell me one company. Na?
Sorry?
Any one company, how many people were there?
In some of the companies, even beyond 10,000 people.
Is it possible to keep those 10,000 in mind and plan a pace frame?
No, what I meant here was not necessarily across the company structures. What I meant was similar profile and similar expertise. So the points, obviously, this is going to be a very, very tricky exercise, not easily achievable. I agree. And that's why the systems which have been based purely on negotiation and things like that. If, for example, just to take an example, let's say if we are talking about a person from sales with a similar experience and with at least perceived similar skills. So that obviously, to some extent, I agree with the point that you are trying to make. It may not be 100% possible, but yes, it would help if there is not great discrimination. Because
but why
then
would anyone do any great discrimination purposefully? You want someone because he is a performer, you don't pay him what he wants, he will not join you. It's as simple as that.
That's true, but the point that I would like to make is that how are you forgetting that the earlier people?
No one is forgetting anyone. No one is forgetting. It's the need of the hour. You want me as a CEO, you don't pay me what I want, I don't join you, go lump it.
That's true. That's the reality, and that's why the system is working the way it is.
And the whole world is working in that way.
But that is, yeah, that's true. Absolutely. That's why the situation has arisen to where it is.
No, it is not the reason. That's precisely what I'm trying to tell you. You see, we are trying to justify something based upon our sympathies. We are not justifying it on absolute outcomes.
Okay, could be. You have a point there.
See,
it could be a general defense.
Our sympathies. You see, supposing Mr. Rajan Varshney is sympathizing with Anita or Smita, he remembers such a situation he has gone through.
Okay.
We are surrounded by such people. And all those are assumptions. They need not be true. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The mind is a wonderful weapon.
Of the mind. I appreciate your feedback, sir. Take it. Point
it's
taken.
total. We will see. We'll see.
Yes.
See, definitely every theory is open to correction. That is why the next theory comes. If the Adams equity theory had been the be-all and sum-all of human motivation, no other theory after that would have come, isn't it?
Sure.
Then why did it come? We are going
There's
to
always
see
a process
10
of
motivational
evolution.
theories. That means the next theory is going to be an improvement on Adams. That theory is going to be improved upon by another. That theory is going to be improved upon by another. Like that, we are going to see 10 theories before we come to Kahn's 1990 theory of human engagement. So you see, there is improvement in all these things possible. But what I'm trying to impress upon you is that somewhere along the line, the conscious has to take control of the subconscious. When we say the mind, we are talking about the subconscious. All those conditions which are there inside our mind, they are all in the subconscious. And the subconscious is what, based upon universal need principle, is trying to control us. But things have moved forward. And the understanding that such a theory exists, and this is how the theory has come about, gives you the leverage to be able to handle it appropriately at the right time. Next time when something like this happens in your office, you will immediately not take sides. What you will do? If you remember this theory, these discussions, these learnings and these teachings, you will pause, step back, reflect, question yourself, then see, rationalize as to whether it is truly so. That is what education is all about. What distinguishes a person is like, you're walking on a street. Let me ask you a simple question. You're walking on a dark street, it's pitch dark. There is a big cut in the middle of the road, and you can't see beyond your nose. It is so dark. What will happen?
You'll fall into it.
You'll fall into it, right?
Yes.
But just before you reach that pitch, that cut, suddenly there is a streak of lightning. And you see that cut. Now what will happen?
You will pause it.
You'll stop. Pause. You will not fall. You will pause. You'll stop. That's precisely what knowledge does. Knowledge is that streak of lightning which will make you think for a minute before you take the next step. So let's continue with our journey. You can stop me at any point for any clarification that you want. I'll try to give it to you as best as possible. Not that I have all the answers. The situation as it is visible. Now let us take an objective look at the situation without the assumptions. We should not have any assumption. When we see a situation, when you see a tree, you see a tree. You see branches, you see leaves. You don't try to judge the age, the freshness, and all those things you don't do. You just see what, that's why I said the situation as it is visible. Success and recognition gap. Smita led a product launch that exceeded sales by 40%. When annual appraisal was announced, she received only 8% raise. A colleague who barely met target received 10.5% raise. There is no mention about any link between the type of projects, experience, salary, or anything between her and her colleague. Management response, when she went and asked the manager for clarification, Smita was told, you're already at the top end of your band. Don't worry, your work is noticed. There is no mention about how long the discussion took place, what all preceded this sentence or what preceded after this sentence. Nothing. The gist of the matter was, you're already at the top end of your band. Don't worry, your work is noticed. That means what? This is the first year of our operation, and she has joined at the top end of the band in which she has joined, which must have been, might have been told to her, might not have been told to her, but that's what it stands as. Number 3. Pay disparity discovery. Smita discovered that a male colleague whom she was mentoring had been hired at 25% higher salary despite joining 6 months after her. There is no mention of anything other than the 25% higher salary. Comparison with previous workplace. In an earlier company, there were regular spot bonuses, greater leadership visibility, and strategic projects assigned to high performers. This is what she remembers from her earlier company. If it was such a good company, why did she leave that and come here? What are the push factors? She doesn't remember. For any recruitment, there has to be a pull and a push factor. This is one of the key things that we need to remember. We leave a place for an association or a relationship because we are not happy in it. But after we leave it, we remember only the good things about it. All the bad things are forgotten. Before we enter into a new relationship, a new company, or a new environment, only the good things of that company, environment, and relationship is visible to us. But after we join, all that which was visible earlier is gone. Only the bad thing is visible to us. This is another game which the mind plays on us. Declining engagement. Over the next few months, her enthusiasm dipped, decision-making slowed, and she began exploring external jobs. What is the main thing in this? Suresh, your hand is raised.
Can I add something?
Can you just
What
put down that hand?
Sorry, sir. Yeah, hand.
Can you
Okay,
just
sir.
put down that hand? Yeah, tell me.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say is, Smita has mentored this employee who got a hike. But what is the area of mentoring? There are some other areas also could have been there. So it
That's
is
what I'm
a
telling.
generalized
What is
assumption.
visible, only we should see.
Yeah.
Not assume so many things.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Over the next few months, her enthusiasm dipped, decision-making slowed, and she began exploring external job offers. What does this effectively tell us? The fifth point, what does it effectively tell us? This is another very important insight which we should remember in our mind, because we are all leaders here. And we have a very big responsibility on our shoulder to drive engagement. That's why we are here. Am I right? So what does this point tell us? This point is telling something. In that one sentence, there is a huge story hidden.
Her expectation was more.
She is disengaged.
Salary.
No.
Salary.
No. No.
The management didn't notice her disengagement.
No.
Because it took more than 3 months.
No. This is telling us an entirely different story. Remember one thing. Once this sort of a demotivation and disengagement kicks in, from that moment onwards, there is a downward spiral. It is going to only gather momentum. It's not going to reduce. It's going to keep on increasing. And with each incident that happens in your life, you are going to reinforce that demotivation, reinforce that disengagement. This is the danger. Not for the company, for you as an individual. Please understand that. Because when you get demotivated, disengaged, more than doing damage to the organization, you are damaging your personal life. You are going to carry it as a burden into the next assignment you go to. Bear this in mind, because as we move towards B.F. Skinner's theory, and as we move into the Adams theory and the B.F. Skinner's theory, this will start gathering momentum. So what are the key issues highlighted? Number one, performance reward mismatch. Exceptional results not matched with equitable financial rewards. Number 2, pay disparity, lack of transparency. The discovery of inequity reduce trust and motivation. Rule number 2, we're talking about NDA, non-disclosure agreement. How many of you are in line with that?
We had this as a policy, sir.
Huh?
In my earlier company, this was a policy where increment that is given should not be disclosed or discussed with other employees.
Okay. So you have joined a company. Let us look at the non-disclosure agreement beginning. You join a company. You negotiate with the HR. There's a tough negotiation. At the end of the negotiation, you receive a salary. Okay? What will be your feeling?
Happy.
You are drawing, let us say, 5 lakhs, you could get 7.5 lakhs. Tell me, what will be your feeling?
Happy about the way I got a hike and the way I negotiated.
And you are told you should not tell it to anyone. What happens to that happiness? The happiness comes when you share it with people. Number 1. Number 2, you are told you should not share it with anyone because it will create a problem. So what does it mean? That means you have been given something which others are not getting. That means the next person who comes will get something which you have not got. That means the trust is screwed on the first day. You want it? Fantastic. So you create an employment with distrust between you and your employee. Fantastic. Eh? What, Mr. Suresh?
But most of the companies, they are doing, sir, this thing.
Yeah, most of the companies are doing stupid things. So should we continue doing it?
I only told what the company
No,
policy
I'm
was
just
because
asking. I'm not telling you are stupid or anything like that. I'm just telling how good this is.
They already know.
First, just me ask you one simple, honest question. Which is the one thing people lie about to the world? I don't know how many people have the courage to stand up and be counted on this. What is the one thing people lie about? About their salary. They always add 20-25% more to it and tell to the world. Because unfortunately, we have been taught right from the beginning the price of everything and the value of nothing. So we think that what we earn is a measure of our status, and we always try to hike it and tell it to the world. And here what you are doing, you get an increase and you can't tell it. So both ways it kills you. One, trust is gone. Second thing is you can't enjoy what you have got.
There is another dimension also. The company knows that people will be dissatisfied or demotivated more by the comparison thing. So they themselves will be giving in absolute terms, good benefits, but they don't want comparison to creep in because that will dissatisfy people.
Why? Are there no way of ensuring that what you are giving is only the beginning and people can earn more through some other ways? That is where the whole, idea of being a good management comes in.
No, that engaging things can be there, but this part I'm telling NDA is good also.
But means, Mr. Rajan, where the word but is used. What is but, the word but really? The but is an eraser. It erases everything that you have told before that but.
Nothing is 100% absolute or this way. Man is a social animal. Comparison is always there.
That's what we are going to show you, something which you can compare with, which will make you better. If I can give you something for your Adams equity theory, where that comparison will make you better, would you not be happy with it? The mind requires something to compare with, isn't it? But who said that you can't have something better to compare with than only your colleague?
Actually, you notice only negative thing. Positive thing is taken for
Rajan ji,
granted.
if we have decided कि मैं जो पकड़ लिया हूँ उस खरगोश का सिर्फ 3 ही टांग है, तो मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता हूँ. If you have decided कि आपके खरगोश के 3 टांग हैं, I agree, आपके खरगोश के 3 टांग हैं. लेकिन दुनिया में बाकी सब खरगोश के 4 हैं. इसको तो मान लीजिए कम से कम कि आप जिसको पकड़े हैं उसके 3 हैं, मैं ये मान लेता हूं. आप ये मान लीजिए कि बाकी दुनिया के सब खरगोश के 4 टांग हैं.
बिल्कुल ठीक है.
So what is the third? Recognition deficit, absence of tangible and immediate appreciation for high performance. Number 4, motivation erosion. Initial enthusiasm declined due to misaligned between expectation and reality. These are the key issues highlighted. I am not saying that these issues are true, but these are what have been highlighted in this case study. That brings us to what is the theory that we are talking about. These theories were rampant when Stacey Adams was working in GE Electronics as a behavioral scientist in the 60s. He developed this theory in 1963. In early 60s, Stacey Adams was working as a behavioral psychologist at GE Electrics. This was the time when the American workplace was changing rapidly. There were strong labor unions, and there was a huge amount of discussion, argument, and debate on equity, justice, and fairness in society at large. And that was the period when, Leon Festinger came up with his social comparison theory, in which he said, that was in 1954, when he said that people evaluate their own opinions and abilities by comparing themselves to others. Man has always been, referencing himself only against others. And this is reinforced further from our childhood. I am sure you all will remember your parents telling, apne cousin ko dekho, see your sister, see your son, see your brother. That is drilled into us. Right from the beginning, our parents have been comparing. Uncle ko suna ke dikhao. And uncle makes a comment, oh, this boy talks so well. So all these things, Sharma ji ke ladke ko dekho, Bhavesh ji has come up with the right thing, Sharma ji ke ladke ko dekho. This is a standard sentence. And so we are always learned right from the beginning to compare ourselves and reference ourselves with others. And that's what was happening at that time. And that is when Stacey Adams came up with the equity theory. And this has got tremendous significance because this is a very, very beautiful theory. It isn't the absolute amount of rewards that matters most. It is a relative fairness of the reward system which matters. That's what this Adams equity theory has as the core idea. It is not the reward that you are getting. It is in reference to what is happening with others. And Adams equity theory says that subconsciously, without knowing, you are going to compare everything in 4 different directions. What are those 4 different directions? Number 1, the experience within your current organization. And what are you going to compare it with? Can anyone tell me?
Previous organization's experience.
Correct. With your previous organization, the experience within that previous organization. You are always going to compare it with that, but you forget that you left the previous organization and came to this organization only because there were a number of things which you did not like there. After coming here, you will forget all those things which you disliked and only remember those good things. And then come here for the good things which are present here. Then You will nazarandaz all those good things, be blind to all those good things and look at only the negative things or presumed negative things of your current organization. This is what management has to be very careful about, because this is not just about you. This is applicable even to your manager who is going to be leading you, or his manager who is going to lead him. From the top to bottom, this thing applies. The second, what is the second direction? To others within your current organization. You will not only compare yourself with others within the current organization, what else will you do? Here it becomes even more tricky. You will compare yourself with others within all other organizations of that industry. Not just the earlier organization, other organizations also. टाटा में ऐसे होता है, बिरला में वैसे होता है, महिंद्रा में ऐसे होता है. Is there an end to it? This is what Adams equity theory is. Now you are in a fix, because there is no end to what sort of wrong information you can get from the world. It's not necessary that all the information that you have got about other organizations needs to be right. Someone tells you something in a coffee shop, that becomes gospel truth for you. Someone says, I am getting 10 lakh rupees, salary. He might have increased his salary by 33%, 7.5 lakhs. He has said it is 10 lakhs. You simply accept that it is 10 lakhs and you are getting 7.5 or 8. You say, I am getting less. You never stop to question it. It is under these circumstances that the management or the manager or the leader has to operate. Now you must be wondering how B.F. Skinner's theory is attached to this. B.F. Skinner's theory talks about motivating a person in the short term, creating a sustainable motivation by linking it to needs and values and purpose, so that for a slightly longer term it can go, and right into the middle of it comes B.F.'s equity theory. And this equity theory is the balance sheet in the mind. You are constantly writing credit and debit in the mind, and you are going to view the motivation that has been given by B.F. Skinner's behavior based upon your Adams equity. Before we go into that, let us see what, based upon this, what he could have done differently. Number one, communicate compensation decision with context and transparency. That's what all of you said. What happened? Smita was told, you already are in the top of the band, which felt dismissive and vague. Possibly, the manager could have clearly explained the band structure and all those things in elaboration. This is one thing which he could have done. All of you correctly pointed that out. Second thing, preempt inequity by benchmarking offers and raises. That's precisely what Mr. Rajan and many others had told, that they could have aligned the new offers with existing internal equity based upon what others are getting, and maybe, not take people which will disturb that equity. The third is, recognize and reward in a meaningful, non-monetary ways. Give a motivational stroke, which is not necessarily be monetary. Give strategic assignments, cross-functional exposure, or even internal awards, recognitions. These things could have been done. Not that they were not done. Or create safe space for dialogue where people can come back to you and discuss with you what exactly is happening. This is what, could have been done, which many companies do. It's not that they don't do, but in spite of that, it does not work. So what are the learning points as per Adams' theory? Number one, equity matters. Employees compare their rewards and not only to their performance, but also to that of their colleagues Perceived inequity can cause disengagement. This is a very, 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 very important thing. You can't control who the employee looks at and what he draws from it. There's absolutely no way, no foolproof way that you can do it. This is a risk, and this is the risk which you have to address if you want engagement. Number two, recognition is multidimensional. It need not necessarily be financial reward. There can be visible appreciation, meaningful project opportunities, and all work together to sustain motivation. So looking at it unilaterally from one direction and trying to create a package which is unidirectional in terms of salary and perks will never work. So any company which has to create meaningful engagement has to look at it from multiple angles. Transparency builds trust. When pay promotion processes are opaque, as in the case of NDA, employees may assume unfairness even if none is intended. Your intention does not matter. How the employee views it is what matters. So having transparency is the only thing by which you can build trust. The more transparent you are, the less problems you are likely to face, even though there will definitely be problems then also. Retention is cheaper than replacement. Replacement costs 7 times more. Statistics have shown that recruiting a person, onboarding him, training him, and putting him into productive use costs 7 times more than the expenditure at retaining a person. Losing a high performer costs more than offering competitive rewards. So it's better to give competitive rewards freely and generously, keeping in mind Adam's equity theory, rather than lose a person and try to replace him. Communication shapes perception. Poorly worded feedback can unintentionally diminish morale. These are the main points from Adam's theory, because a wrong word anywhere can create tremendous amount of damage. And when does that wrong word come? When does that wrong word come?
Lack of transparency, lack of trust.
No, when you are emotionally addressing an issue rather than objectively. When you emotionally address an issue, when you are convinced something is right, you go all out, hook, line, and sinker, you go to support it. Then you start using powerful words, because powerful emotions require powerful expression to convey. So be calm. Don't get emotionally attached to a decision. Then you will not use powerful words. Key learnings for company to enhance engagement. Some of these are standard teachings. Then we will come into the deeper insights. So what are the first key learning? Align rewards with performance. These are all common sense things. Ensure high performance consistently translate into tangible benefit. That means every time you see a good performance, reward it. It need not necessarily be money. It can be a small stick-it note, or it can be a small letter, or you can be personally, you can meet that person and tell a job well done. Audit pay structures regularly. This is another very important thing which many good companies do. Avoid unintended disparities between employees of similar roles and performance levels. Constantly keep auditing. It's not possible that you will say that this is the limit, this is the band, I will not go beyond that. If you want good people, you might have to step outside the band sometimes. When you do that, you need to ensure that everybody in that level is either informed or the parity is maintained. Non-monetary recognitions is very necessary. Achievements, assign strategic projects, and give visible acknowledgement. But don't make it routine. What do I mean by make it routine? What do we mean by making it routine?
Every time a high performance, immediately you recognize it and
No,
do
that
something.
is not routine. That is being proactive and are acting in the right way. Whenever there is a high performance, you reward it. That's what is to be done. What is meant by routine? Have you all been to Pizza Hut?
So a normal
Or
performance is
McDonald's?
also rewarded highly.
Huh?
When a normal performance will be rewarded highly, a normal performance.
Usually that does not happen. If that happens,
Yeah.
then the management does not understand the meaning of the performance. But have you all been to Pizza Hut, McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, or any of these places? Can you
The
tell
taste
me?
is the same.
Can you tell me something you have seen there?
Sir.
Yeah, employee of the month.
Who said that? Who said that? Employee of the month?
Venugopal.
Yeah, employee of the month. Don't do that. Yeah, it has become so common that even the employee whose name is written there, a photo is hung there, he doesn't look at it. Don't make it a ritual. Recognition should not become a ritual. Try to bring about a certain degree of novelty to whatever you are doing, so that it doesn't look like a ritual.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Can
Who
we
is
ask?
it?
Yeah, Hitendra. So,
Yeah,
so the question is that, how do you maintain the balance between proactiveness and not letting it become a ritual? Where is the fine line?
The fine line of proactive, not become a ritual. What do you mean by saying proactive? You can't be proactive in recognition because recognition follows action. You can't predict action and be prepared for the recognition. Can you do that?
No. So what? So my thought here is that you are. So that means it is not a pre-announced reward system. It will always follow performance.
Obviously.
Okay.
Reward
So
should
that is
always
the
follow only
disconnect.
performance.
Okay.
See,
Understood.
let
So
us say
my
you have a team which is performing at 60%. Who will you reward?
fair enough. Understood.
No,
So
who
so
will
my
just answer my question so that that is the reason why I'm asking.
so depends on so if somebody is doing an 80% and somebody else is doing a 40%, then obviously the 80% guy gets rewarded.
See, you have a team which is performing on an average at 60%.
Yes.
Who will you reward? You will reward anyone who does 70%. I said average, so somebody must be doing 50, somebody is doing 70.
Sure.
So the 70% you reward. What is the objective behind it?
That he has overachieved.
No, you want everyone to perform 70%.
Yes, absolutely.
Correct? So you see,
Yes.
inform, I am rewarding him because he has done 70 while others have done only 60. Right? Now everyone starts doing 70% average. What do you do?
We should raise the bar.
No, you reward the 80% fellow. Say that, look, this when everybody is doing 70, is doing 80. That means subconsciously you are telling them that the best performer among you will get rewarded.
So even the reward is relative.
Obviously, reward is relative. Performance is relative, isn't it? If 5 different people are there, you can't reward all the 5. Then the logic is gone.
Understood.
So you see, you keep on raising the bar. The way you keep on raising the bar for the reward, you keep on changing the method of rewarding so that there is a novelty and there's an element of surprise and happiness to it. By hanging a board, best employee, everything is gone. Maybe, 1 month, the 80% guy, you call everyone for an evening team out dinner. Maybe another time you buy a memento and give him. Maybe the third time you call them for a high tea and ask him to narrate how he had done it. You bring a novelty so that everyone keeps looking forward to the next high performance. Offer non-monetary recognition. Be transparent and proactive in communication. Address concerns before employees discover iniquities. Why? Why I said address it before iniquities are identified?
It won't lead to the demotivation.
Because you said that once the employee morale goes down, it goes into that downward spiral.
Correct. Let me give you an example. It is human tendency to defend one's turf. We are all animals. Please understand that. Man is an animal. And it's animal nature to be geographical. That means I have an idea that this is my turf and I prevent it. You know, tigers, lions, dogs, everyone mark their territory. Tigers go and scratch on the trees. They are marking the territory. This is my area. No one should come within that area. Another tiger entering, it will go and attack that tiger. How do we do this in human beings? Human beings mark their territory through their cognition. This is my idea. I will defend it to the last breath. That is where the thing came, you know. Mere khargosh ka 3 tang hai. You know, my rabbit has got only 3 legs. That is where this idea comes. Not that the rabbit has got 3 legs, but this is my idea. Now I am going to defend it to my last breath, come hell or high water. And the more intelligent I am, the more the argument will be powerful in defending it. So once the iniquity has set in, that person has got wedded to the idea that injustice has been done to him. Now, whatever you say, he is going to come back to you with an argument which will shoot that argument of yours down. So the best thing is, once that has set in, don't talk about it. Go about correcting it if possible, but don't discuss it any further. Because with every other sentence of discussion, it is only going to become worse. Have you not seen it at home? Argument with your children, with your wife, with your spouse, with a better half, whatever you call it. The more you argue, the more they will hold on to it. The more you try to show that why you are right, the more they will try to convince you why they are right. And where the hell will it end? Family court. Someone at some stage has to say, "Arey Baba, maaf karo. Mai to theek hai. Leave it." Before telling that, why not stop? Don't start at all. Or proactively think what can be the outcome and address it. So before you start your exercise on finalizing the salary, have a checklist of what all you will do before you address the question of increment. The best is what? Go back in time to the time when it all started. Show them. This is what had happened. This is what you are getting. This is what you agreed on. This is what you accepted. This was the understanding between you and us, that this is what you will do. This is what you have done. We are extremely obligated to you that you have, measured up fully on our calculations. Now, this is where you are. What is it you are looking at? And then take the discussion in such a direction that you start cancelling out all the equity theories, which is going to be working in your mind. Are you getting my point, what I'm telling? Wherever it is, go back, pause, reflect, discuss, then deliver. Create pathways beyond salary, provide opportunities for skill growth, leadership exposure, career progression when pay increases are constrained. Show them what is there ahead of them, so that they feel very satisfied Show them all these opportunities. Once they come back and tell you, I have not got this much of increment. Now, if you tell them, I will send you for this training, they'll say, oh, not giving money. Now this guy wants to make me a better manager so that he can extract more work out of me. They will start thinking in the negative. Whatever positive you are going to tell now will become negative. So be proactive. How to avoid the trap between relative, comparison and focus on absolute outcomes? How can you do that? Now, you see, you are also someone who needs to understand that when you are not going to be aware of what's happening in your mind, you are the person who stands to suffer. I'm sure all the people who are here have worked in some company or the other at some time. More than one company, you must all have worked. Even those who are entrepreneurs, they might have worked in some other company earlier. Am I right? Do you remember about those companies? Do you think about it? How much time do you spend on it? Huh? Do you spend time on it?
Very less time.
Very less time. How much time do you spend on yourself?
More of it.
More, 24 hours. Every day, 365 days in a year. What does it really mean? The demotivation, disengagement is affecting you more than it is affecting the company you are in. When we say 15% of the employees are engaged and 85% are disengaged, it means 85% of the human population is unhappy. That's what it means. They are unhappy, they are miserable. They don't want to live. They are existing. Like it? So it is time you also did something about what this balance sheet in your mind is doing. What is this doing? It's constantly comparing with the past. That's not a path you are going to go again. You're not going to go back in the past. You're not going to go back in time, but that's where you are constantly. The whole world does not matter. If you feel hungry, you eat, your stomach will get filled up. Your hunger will be satiated. Because the world is eating, your hunger is not going to be satiated. But still, we are constantly bothered about the world. What is XYZ getting? What is ABC doing? What is the XYZ feeling? How does it matter? Once I'll tell you, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of something which happened with me. I was the national sales manager of a company. Let me not take the company's name. And my director of marketing had come with me to a meeting. And there was a huge union problem there. And this guy lost his cool like nobody's business. Like nobody's business is lost his cool. The meeting was in Oberoi in, Bombay. They wanted to give a memorandum to him. He would not accept. All sorts of problems happened. He started shouting this, that. I stopped him. I said, please come out with me. He said, why? I said, you just come out with me. And what I was going to do, I was sure might even cost me my job. But I had to do that at that time. There was no other way out. I took him out. I don't know, all of you who have been in Bombay, you know where the Oberoi is. He's on Airman Point at the place. I took him out. It was heavily crowded. I told him to stand there and then asked him, how many of these people know you? He was shocked. He said, what are you talking, Arun? I said, just tell me how many of these people know you. He said, what do you mean? I said, just tell me now, how many know you? He said, nobody knows me, stupid. He said, thank God you realized that. He said, that's how important you are. Will you now cool down? There is a problem, let's handle that. Let's stop worrying about what you feel and let's start thinking about what they feel. He told me, okay, you go and handle. I will not come. I went inside. took the memorandum very happily, talked with them, allowed them to tell everything. They told everything. They said, no, we will give it to him. I said, you will give it to him. You now give it to me. I will take it. I will sign it. Then after he has cooled down, he will come in. Then you give it to him and take his signature also. Instead of one person, 2 senior managers of the company will sign your memorandum. Aren't you happy about it? You won't believe it. The whole damn thing got diffused. Then he came in. He also accepted the memorandum, signed it. And that night when we were having dinner, he thanked me that at that time I could put a full stop. Otherwise, things would have got totally ruptured. Why am I telling this? I'm telling this because we need to understand the context in which things are happening. So how do you avoid this trap? Shift the frame of comparison. The first thing you should do is shift the frame of comparison. Instead of comparing with peers or colleagues, compare yourself with what your past self was. Ask, am I better than I was last month, last year? This builds a sense of progress and control rather than helplessness. When you compare yourself with others, you feel helpless. Don't do that. You are not going to matter. Think 50 years down the line. Where am I? Can anyone bluntly tell me where I will be 50 years down the line?
We don't know where.
हाँ? बोल सकते हैं जयेश जी 50 साल आज से मैं कहाँ हूँगा ऐसे बोलो कि तबीयत खुश हो जाए सो
Will not be there
I will be there. I'm sorry.
But you don't
in the
know
minds
where
of
you will
others.
be.
Huh?
You don't know where you will be.
I know where I will be. That is the beauty of it.
You
You
will
all
be in the. We will be in the minds of others.
huh?
We will be in the mind of others for positive attitude.
Hurt of others. Hurt of others.
Some hope. Huh? He really thinks he will be in the mind of others 50 years down the line. Karpusamy sir, you are an optimist. I will tell you where I will be. I will be hanging on some wall as a faded photograph, and people will be sitting there discussing, and someone will ask, "Are yaar, ye kiska photo hai?" Say, "Ah, somebody yaar. My grandfather, great grandfather, somebody. What is his name? I don't know." This is the reality. Look at the wall in your house, you will find some photo like that there. Do you see it? Huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you remember the name of the person whose photo it is? You don't. You don't know.
Remembers.
Then you will call your wife. Are Suno, whose photo is this? Say, yeah, your grandfather. Achha, achha, my grandfather. She knows this is your grandfather because she's annoyed that that photo is there and not her grandfather's. No, nothing else is the reason.
But will remember you.
So the best thing is stop comparing yourself with others. Try to become a better self of yourself. That will give you some amount of satisfaction. And you know, there is this great saying, this, जब लड़ाई खुद से हो तो हमेशा जीतना चाहिए और जब लड़ाई दूसरों से हो तो हारना भी सीखना चाहिए. जब you are going to fight with yourself, your past self, to become better, I'll tell you the fight will be much more interesting. Do that. So shift the frame of comparison. The mind will compare, I'm telling you, that is its nature. The more you teach it to compare with itself, your past self, the better you are. Because you'll have something to do. You will not feel jealous or envious. Focus on intrinsic value, anchor motivation to internal drivers like mastery, learning, contribution. Tell yourself, I may not receive the same bonus as him, but I've learned a new skill that makes me more valuable in the long term. This redirects energy from resentment to growth. Look, these might look like rhetorics. They are not. If you can practice it, you can succeed tremendously in life. Because you don't know what the story of the other person is, but you know your story. We assume what the story of another person is, but we know our story. So the more you build on your story, the more intrinsic value you create within yourself, and the more you teach your mind, because the mind is nothing but a bundle of conditioning. The more you teach it to look at itself, the more it will learn to look at itself, and that is how you can become better. Reframe others' success. Instead of seeing others as benchmark of unfairness, see them as a source of learning. Ask, what are they doing differently that I can learn from them? This transforms envy into curiosity, and it will make you better. Everyone has got something good or better than what you have. Try to take it from them. Instead of envying that, learn from them so that you can become better. You see, the equity theory says that the mind is structured to create a balance sheet constantly. The balance sheet is what? What is there currently in the situation you are in? What it was in the situation you are before. What is it that you are and how others are. Trying to take the good from all the four and trying to work on it will ensure that your balance sheet keeps getting stronger. It will not become weaker. But once you start comparing and envying or feeling jealous, then the problem starts, because most of these could just be impressions in your mind and need not necessarily be true. Acknowledge the full picture. Equity comparisons are often narrow. They are often narrow. Salary, recognition, but people may have unseen costs which is not visible to you. They might be having stress, lack of balance, strained relationships. Do you also want that? A person has got 10.5% or 2.5% more increment than you, has a miserable married life. Are you ready to take that also along with this 2.5%? So you see, now by widening the frame of comparison, often the comparison loses the strength. And since you don't know the whole story, the best is to take the best from him and then work at it. Now you might be asking me the question, is it really that easy? Or is it just philosophy? It might look as though it is philosophy till you realize what are the needs which is driving this. Why is it that you are thinking like this? What are the needs? What are the fundamental characteristics of prehistoric time which is there embedded in us, which is creating this? Now let us see that. Once we understand that, you will understand the value of Adams' equity theory. At the heart of Adams' equity theory, it speaks to the needs that every human being carries, no matter the culture, role, or relationship. Why is it that Adams' equity theory is the same for every human being? Number one, fairness. The deep need to feel that our effort, time, and sacrifices are respected. In the earliest of time, when we were living as a tribe, if we felt that our effort, time, and sacrifices are not respected, what happened? We started feeling insecure. You started thinking that I am not anymore required by the tribe. I might be thrown out any time. That means that immediately left to safety. Not being seen, being valued for what we contribute. This is the reason, why they had to constantly keep measuring their contribution against the groups of the tribe. And that is coming down. Earlier, we were only 5 or 10 in a group at the prehistoric time. Today, there are millions all around us. But the behavior of the mind has not changed. It continues to be the same. And now we have to make conscious effort to change it. Our definition of fairness has to change. Now the definition of fairness has to become what? What is the effort that I was putting earlier? What is the effort I'm putting now? What is the amount of time I was giving earlier to this job? What is the amount of time I'm giving now? What are the sacrifices that I made earlier, which was respected by me, and what are the sacrifices I can make more so that under these changed circumstances, I can find greater respect in my own eyes? What is it which will make me feel satisfied, safe, be valued for my contribution? The reference point has to shift from everyone else to myself. Because today the situation is not what it was during those prehistoric times. Respect, knowing that we are treated with dignity and that the playing field isn't filled against us. What does this mean today?
Believing in your own potential.
Self-esteem.
Yeah, so that's indirectly another word for that.
Yes, self-esteem. How much do you esteem yourself? How do you see yourself? How confident you are about yourself, about your knowledge? How much effort you are taking to build your self-esteem constantly? That is very important. Because your confidence, your relationship, your interactions are all going to depend upon your self-esteem. If you have a poor self-esteem, you will not be able to stand in front of others. You will constantly be thinking, what will the other guy think? Now, who is this other guy? How does he matter? If I feel hungry, I have to eat. I feel hungry, he eats. Will my hunger be satiated? Then comes reciprocity. The sense that giving and receiving flow both ways. No one feels like a perpetual giver or taker. That brings us to the question, do you know what you are giving or that what you want? How many of us know what we are giving? How many of us know what we really want? Are we constantly changing the goalpost? Are we confident about what we are giving, or are we determined to get what we want? Again, you see, it all boils down to us. But what do? We look for it outside. You know, there is this doha, I don't know the full part of it, but I know one part of it. Kasturi kundal base, mrg dhoonde banmahi. Kasturi is there in its navel, but it is searching for the beautiful smell all over the forest without knowing it is there in its navel. Belonging, all these boils down to belonging. Balance assures us that we are part of the relationship or system that cares about us as much as we care about it. So the sense of belonging, which was there, the tribe culture is still coming. And what was created at that time for survival is now working as the balance sheet in our mind. So the core idea of the equity theory is the balance sheet. People frequently engage in comparisons. So instead of comparing with others, comparing with your past self, compare with what you can achieve, what you want to achieve. They weigh their inputs, time, effort, skills, loyalty, sacrifice against their outputs, pay, recognition, promotion, perks, return on investment. This we do everywhere, be it at home or in the office or in the society. Then they compare this ratio with others in similar roles. If they perceive fairness, motivation is maintained. If they perceive inequity, they feel psychological discomfort and take action to restore balance. This is often described as a mental balance sheet. People are subconsciously tallying their debits and credits of effort and reward. This is where the problem comes. Now let us see Adams' equity theory building on Skinner's reinforcement theory. how the Skinner's reinforcement theory got built in this Adams equity theory and what is the connection. We have got the reinforcement theory of B.F. Skinner, which came in 1911. They started using it. Then they realized that it is incomplete. That is when the Adams equity theory came. Behavior is shaped by reinforcement, positive, negative, and punishment. Recognition, rewards, promotion, autonomy, or even subtle cues can strengthen desired behaviors. Am I right? So how is this changed by equity theory? How this thing got changed by equity theory? A greater truth emerged when equity theory came in. What was the greater truth?
Essentially, all recognition, rewards, promotions are getting more influenced by comparison with others.
Correct. It is not the amount of reward you are getting. That reward can become counterproductive when it is compared with others. Employees constantly compare their inputs to outputs relative to others. Employee engagement depends on perceived fairness. What you are giving, you see, you may be thinking I'm rewarding. The damn thing backfires on you because the guy is comparing you with somebody else. So just by thinking you are motivating someone, you are not motivating. That is where the first problem starts. It becomes a very dangerous thing. You see, if you don't motivate at all, he just complains, "Arey yaar, kuch nahi mila kisi ko." Which is better? Kuch nahi mila kisi ko ya usko mujhse zyada mila?
कुछ नहीं मिला किसी को.
It's better. And you gain now. You keep everything yourself. Now, by giving what happened, whatever you had, you have given to them. So you also lose. You lose doubly now. You lose the material which you had by giving it to them. And then you lose that person because he is unhappy. You gave more to someone else. Now, similarly, that fellow is now complaining someone else got something more. By God. What a motivation theory. अभी सोच रहे थे कि मोटिवेट कर देंगे, सब काम करेंगे, पता चला मोटिवेट नहीं किए तो बेटर है, क्योंकि कम से कम दुश्मनी तो नहीं होगी. You know, it is a story of that person. You know, there was a beggar used to go to a street. It is a Tamil story. One lady, you know, she used to give alms every day, and another lady who used to stay opposite her, she never used to give anything. Then this beggar woman used to go every day to the same street, collect the alms from one house, and the other house, they used to give nothing. She used to go away. One day, the lady who gave, she didn't give. What happened? What do you think happened?
He will get cursed, sir.
Yeah, abused. Angry.
Abused.
वो बोली ये महारानी जो हर दिन नहीं देती थी उसने तो नहीं दिया, इस चुड़ैल को क्या हुआ जो हर दिन देती थी? जो नहीं देती थी वो महारानी बन गई और जो देती थी वो चुड़ैल बन गई. This is Adams equity theory. So be very careful. When you are encouraging, don't think you are encouraging. You might be digging your grave because of Adams equity theory. So you see, employees constantly compare their inputs to outputs to relative to others. Engagement depends on perceived fairness. So where they connect, Skinner says what gets rewarded gets repeated. Skinner says what gets rewarded gets repeated. True. Adam says, but the reward only motivates if it feels fair compared to others. So you see, if you have rewarded and in comparison it is not found to be fair, what will happen? The reverse will happen. Operant conditioning explains how to reinforce behavior, while equity theory explains when reinforcement actually sustains motivation. So whenever you are rewarding, my dear friends, be very careful. Because history is replete with instances when motivation has backfired in a very, very, very big way. It has led to serious demotivation, confusing people who had, crafted that motivation to wonder why it happened. Skinner says what gets rewarded gets repeated. Adam says, but the reward only motivates if it feels fair compared to others. That means the moment you reward someone, that person is going to compare it with others. He is not just going to take it as it is. Operant conditioning explains how to reinforce behavior, but equity theory explains when reinforcement actually sustains motivation, only when it measures up to the balance sheet in the mind. So every time you define or design a motivational reward for people, look, stop, reflect, look all around you, see what the impact is going to be, then do it. Practical
So I have
application.
a question here. How do we actually judge what the other person will perceive and the parameters he will apply?
अभी शुरू हुआ है जी, कहानी तो अभी शुरू हुआ है, अभी बहुत से और थियरीज बाकी हैं. अब ये तो हो गया, ये once this Adams equity theory has come, people started working, correct? Just go back to 1963. How happy people must have been. Aha. Skinner's theory we had so many problems. We started motivating people, then the results were negative. They must have experienced, na? Then Adam came with his equity theory. The moment Adam's equity theory came, many of the things which had gone wrong, people could explain. So they said, aha, so when I gave the reward, that fellow started comparing it with others. That is why it backfired. They knew. They understood. So what did they do? They started thinking all around, कि किसको क्या होगा, what will happen, how the reaction will be. And then they started creating the reward system. Am I right, Mr. Gosai?
Yeah, in some sense, that should have been the outcome.
That would have been the behavior, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Then they got
should have been.
Again, they got beaten with the chopper.
Absolutely.
Then the third theory came. Then the fourth. Then the fifth. Then the sixth. Like that, 10 theories are there. And with each one, something else about the human nature will start coming up. The story does not end here. It goes right up to 1990. I told you, it goes up to 1990 when the engagement theory, job crafting, task crafting, and then cognitive crafting came after that. Today, we are at a stage where crafting is the main thing. How do you craft things? How do you craft the task? How do you craft the, cognition? How do you craft the relationship so that there can be engagement? And then we will see what Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci did during the Renaissance period. How we can take examples from this is a vast subject. Cognitive science and engagement is a vast subject. You have to understand it. Now, then you have a formula. That is a framework for implementing it. But again, that framework is not cast on stone. It is a framework which is fluid, and you will have to understand it in the context in which you are going to be applying it so that you can apply it effectively. But believe me, it can be done. It has been done. If some companies have shot up to the top, like Google or Microsoft or Apple or Samsung, they have all done it only because they have been able to do these things. And we will see them as we move forward. Once we cross these motivational theories, we will start studying engagement through organization case studies and through the principles and the theories, and we will see what can be done. You are absolutely right. We are only in the second theory. We still a long way to go, but at least here, here itself we are seeing many things, isn't it? Did you not get an insight today into something different?
Yes, sir.
Very different. Very different.
Huh?
We
Yes,
shouldn't
sir.
compare with
Eye-opening.
others.
So you see, this is something very different. Now, the next thing will come. So how is now with just this much, what is the practical application in organization? Number one, recognition program. Celebrate achievement openly, ensuring recognition aligns with both performance and fairness. This is what you can do. Because we have only touched Adams equity theory till now, Skinner and Adams equity theory. So you can combine both these and do it. Then, yes, can we kindly mute? There is some background noise coming. Can everyone please mute their audios? Okay, transparent reward system. Define clear criteria for bonuses, promotions, or even praises, so employees see justice in the distribution. This is something you can do, combining both these. Then, engagement as a balance sheet. Think of reinforcement as a credit entries and equity as the audit checks that make sure the books balance. Try as far as possible to think in terms of balance, debit and credit, so that you are not caught in the wrong foot. Then managers can use micro reinforcements, thank you, small perks, autonomy, but must apply them equitably across the team. Don't do it just for one person. Try to be as impartial as possible with your team, and be very nominal in your approach to recognition and rewarding. Don't go overboard and promise big things. Remember one thing, words are the most potent demotivators anywhere. Think 10 times and then don't speak. That's what I always used to advise my subordinates. Think 10 times, then don't speak, keep shut. Because if in the period that you have been thinking nothing has happened, by keeping quiet, nothing is going to happen. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
I hope you could find some insight today. Yes.
More
Madam
insights.
Francis, you have raised your hand.
No, I did not raise my hand. I appreciated it. It was
Okay, thank you. So, I hope you have got something today. We have seen B.F. Skinner's. Today we have seen Adams' equity theory. We have seen how it has changed. All those of you who felt extremely happy that now I know motivation, positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, punishment, extinction, suddenly realized could be very dangerous. So a new insight has come into how we have to go about it. Next session, we will see how this can blow up on your face. So you see, as it continued, Jayesh बोले अरे यार कहाँ के फंस गए, नहीं सीखते अच्छा होता. जो कर रहे थे वही करने देते यार, हमको काहे तंग कर रहे हो. You are muted, Jayesh. You are muted. You are unmute.
I'm worried about how this will blow up. That was what worried me.
I'll tell you one thing. This is a beautiful thing. See, one of the reasons why motivation always backfires. Because you see, till you reach the 10th theory, you will not realize what has gone wrong. But one good thing is, all these behavioral scientists, at every step they kept on doing research And they kept on coming up with solutions to solve it. That worked for some time or to a limited extent. Then again, it started creating problems. In the next session, we will be seeing another wonderful theory. Wonderful theory we will be seeing. That will give us more insights. And after that, we will have an exclusive workshop on all these three combined, what to do. Because you see, once you combine your Skinner, equity, and the third theory, which I'm not going to be talking about now, I'm not going to give you the name, you'll have to find it. Go ahead. See, the reason why I'm doing it like this is I want you people to go and read motivational theories.
Such.
It is the evolution of the human mind, which is you are reading. When you are talking about motivation theories, you are reading about the evolution of the human mind, how people, not that the human mind started evolving. You are reading how it has evolved, how each one has led into the other. What happened in the earliest period when we were living as a tribe, fighting dinosaurs and, not knowing which plant is good to eat or where to live, when we were just small bunch of people, not having anything to wear, trying to defend ourselves with stones and sticks. All that which has happened to us has been given down, through genetics into this. And today, sitting here wearing all these dresses and talking so many different languages and so-called education, we are still that primitive animal. Still that primitive animal. And that animal instinct is only driving us. And the more you learn about that animal, the more you will be able to tame that thing called the mind and start shaping it to behave in such a way that it will be a benefit to you. That is the whole idea behind it. Okay? So friends, I come back to that again. Final slide, which you are going to definitely disappoint me, as is usual. Please give your 5-point feedback. Value and relevance. How relevant and applicable was the content to your business or professional situation? Did the program solve any real problems and connect to their context? Number 2, was the style of delivery straightforward to follow, especially for complex strategy ideas? Did you find any effectiveness in being able to translate strategic theory into understandable, usable design insights? Number 3, did you find it engaging? Did the session encourage your participation? Did you find it practical? Is it implementation ready? And finally, what was your overall experience? And if you have any suggestions for improvement, you are most welcome to provide it. Please give your feedback. It will be a revision for you because you will have to go through all the things that you have discussed today. As well as it will tell me what it is I can do to make your experience better. We have a session by Mr. On this itself, we have a session by Mr. Suresh Ramaratnam on 29th, where he will be discussing the next part of objective setting for employee engagement. That is no clarity, no commitment. The first step to, creating a good objective is clarity. How do you achieve that clarity? That is on 29th. Please join that. That's a free session. All of you can come. In between, on 25th, I have the paid session on Blue Ocean Strategy. The 5th of the 6 parts on, how to create uncontested market space, looking across functional and emotional appeal. That is mainly a session for the exclusive strategy group, which is a paid group. If anyone is interested in joining the paid group, they can contact me to discuss about it. Others, Thank you for coming. I look forward to your feedback, and we will meet again next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, sir.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you.